Good morning, everybody. A warm welcome to the session of project graduation to all the parents and guest teacher. Um, this year had been a different altogether because of the pandemic, but our students and all the teachers have left no stone unturned to make things happen in a different way. So, our project graduation this year is a unique way of presenting students learning, knowledge, skills all throughout the year that they have acquired. So let's give a big round of applause to all the participants, 9 participants today, and wish them all the best for their project graduation. So my first opening batsman is Rishik. So Rishik, the stage is yours.
Thank
The
you.
virtual stage.
Yes. Okay. Good morning to everyone. So, in this presentation, I'll be speaking about what I've learned this year in eighth grade. So, as this year was online because of the pandemic, we were able to utilize a new platform which is online. We explored tools such as Google Classroom, Google Sites, and Kahoot, and we interacted through breakout sessions in Google Meet. And we also had enriching programs such as Project July and Socratic Dialogues. So that way, we were still able to continue our learning with the help of our teachers and staff. So I'll get into the presentation now. So coming to language arts. This year in English, I was able to refine my writing skills and strengthen my write ups. I also fixed some hidden grammatical errors and developed a great vocabulary. Through this, I was able to implement simple yet effective techniques to develop beautiful English literature. I wanted to present my understandings in project graduation in a new way, so I decided to write a poem while using figurative language, idioms, and a few other skills. So I'll be reading out the poem and see if you can find out any of these. A Companion's Discovery, a poem by me. Once lived a young child of pure innocence who would love to read a book. He would spend his time doing something new, like donning the hat of a cook. He would savor the whiff of the muffin he baked, enjoying the breeze from the salty sea, just as he would anticipate the thrill of a scene as he read a tale with glee. He lived alone in a cozy home with no one except the grandma next door. He sometimes felt an emptiness because of not having a friend anymore. To keep himself occupied and to stop feeling glum, he would be as busy as a beaver, doing things like watching cartoons while chewing gum. It was a fine afternoon, and as he went outside, he saw a miserable canine. With its beautiful face and fleecy golden fur, he thought, "This pup is surely going to be a friend of mine." The boy ran up to the dog with exuberance, and it licked him with fervent joy. It was as sweet as honey, and the boy felt it's a bonding never to destroy. He took the doggy to his house, placed the rug on the floor, and softly stroked its hair. He played and sung and danced with it, and they truly made a delightful pair. The lad treated it with love and care. From then on, they loved each other. They were like two peas in a pod. Their happiness together was a mountain's peak, and the boy named the puppy Todd. The boy's call would make Todd smile a mile wide. Todd's bar could be music to his ears. They never had a moment without each other, and they were together till their last years. So, in this analysis column, I've written down some of the skills I've used, such as sensory words, figurative language, and idioms. You could go through them for a few seconds. Now, I'll be speaking about what I learned this year in our second language, Telugu. ఈ సంవత్సరం మా మాతృభాష అయిన తెలుగులో సయ్యద్ అమీర్ గారు రచించిన భారత్ స్వతంత్ర పోరాటం అనే పుస్తకం యొక్క సమీక్ష నేను రాశాను. దీంట్లో ఉన్న ముఖ్యాంశాలు మీకు అందజేయాలనుకుంటున్నాను. ప్రకృతి సహజమైన భౌగోళిక పరిసరాలు, ఎంతో విశాలమైన భూభాగం, ఓర్పుగల ప్రజలతో మౌలిక వసతులు కలిగిన దేశంగా భారతదేశం ఒకప్పుడు ఖ్యాతిగన్నది. పాడి పంటలతో, నేత పరిశ్రమలతో కలకలలాడుతూ ప్రపంచ దేశాలకు విలువైన వస్తువులు ఎగుమతి చేస్తూ స్వయం సంపూర్ణ ఆర్థిక వ్యవస్థను కొనసాగించింది. అలాంటి మన భారతదేశం వర్తక వ్యాపారాలకు వచ్చిన అల్పసంఖ్యాకులైన ఆంగ్లేయులకు బానిసలా లొంగిపోయి 18వ శతాబ్దంలో పరాయి జాతికి పరిపాలనాధికారాన్ని కట్టబెట్టే హీనస్థితికి దిగజారి దోపిడీకి గురయ్యి చివరికి 19వ శతాబ్దంలో స్వాతంత్ర్యం పొందగలిగింది. నిరక్షరాస్యత, మూఢాచారాలు, కులమత భేదాలు దేశాన్ని ఎలా చిన్నాభిన్నం చేశాయో, తద్వారా కలిగిన కష్టాలు అధిగమించడానికి భారతీయులందరూ ఏకమయ్యి క్విట్ ఇండియా అంటూ బ్రిటిష్ వారిని ఎలా తరిమేశారో, ఎలా స్వాతంత్ర్యం తెచ్చుకున్నారో నేను తెలుసుకున్నాను. 15వ శతాబ్దంలో ఐరోపా వర్తకులు సముద్ర మార్గం ద్వారా భారతదేశంలో వ్యాపారం సాగించేవారు. ఈ క్రమంలో ఈస్ట్ ఇండియా కంపెనీ బలమైన వ్యాపార శక్తిగా ఎదిగింది. గవర్నర్ జనరల్ లార్డ్ డల్హౌసీ రాజ్య సిద్ధాంతం ప్రకారం వారసులు లేని రాజ్యాలను ఆంగ్లేయులు వశపరుచుకున్నారు. భారతదేశంలో అడవిని నమ్ముకుని జీవనం కొనసాగిస్తున్న గిరిజన జీవితాల్లో జోక్యం చేసుకుని వారి హక్కులను కాలరాశారు. 19వ శతాబ్దంలో ఆంగ్ల పాలనకు వ్యతిరేకంగా మొదటిసారి భారతీయులు సిపాయిల తిరుగుబాటు చేశారు. బ్రిటిష్ వారు ప్రవేశపెట్టిన ఎన్ఫీల్డ్ రైఫిల్ అనే తుపాకీలో ఉన్న తూట ఆవు కొవ్వు, పంది కొవ్వుతో తయారు చేయడం మతభావాలను దెబ్బతీసేలా ఉందని హిందూ ముస్లిం సైనికులు భావించారు. ఆంగ్ల విద్యని అభ్యసించి ఆధునిక భావాలు గల రాజా రామ్మోహన్ రాయ్, స్వామి దయానంద సరస్వతి, స్వామి వివేకానంద, యానీ బిసెంట్, కందుకూరి వీరేశలింగం వంటి వారు హిందూ మతంలో దురాచారాలను ఖండించి భారతీయ సమాజాన్ని పునర్నిర్మించాలని కలలు కన్నారు. 19వ శతాబ్దం చివరికి బ్రిటిషు పరిపాలన దుష్ఫలితాలు, దోపిడీ, అణచివేతకు వ్యతిరేకంగా మేధావి వర్గం జాతీయోద్యమ భావాలను పత్రికల ద్వారా ప్రజల్లోకి తీసుకెళ్లారు. బంకిం చంద్ర చటర్జీ రాసిన వందే మాతర గీతం దేశభక్తికి, ఆత్మత్యాగానికి నాంది పలికింది. లోకమాన్య తిలక్, యానీ బెసెంట్ హోమ్ రూల్ లీగ్లను స్థాపించారు. రౌలట్ చట్టం వ్యతిరేకిస్తూ గాంధీ గారు మొదటిసారిగా జాతీయోద్యమంలో చేరారు. జలియన్ వాలాబాగ్ ఉదంతం తర్వాత సహాయ నిరాకరణ ఉద్యమం, సైమన్ గో బ్యాక్ వంటి నినాదాలతో తీవ్ర ప్రజా వ్యతిరేకత ఎదురైంది. 1929లో జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ అధ్యక్షతన పూర్ణ స్వరాజ్ డిమాండ్ చేస్తూ జాతీయ కాంగ్రెస్ తీర్మానం చేసింది. గాంధీజీ ఉప్పు చట్టాలను ఉల్లంఘిస్తూ శాసనోల్లంఘన ఉద్యమాన్ని తీవ్రతరం చేశారు. 1939లో జరిగిన రెండవ ప్రపంచ యుద్ధం తర్వాత ఆంగ్ల పాలనను వ్యతిరేకిస్తూ క్విట్ ఇండియా తీర్మానం జరిగింది. చివరకు 1947 ఆగస్టు 14 అర్ధరాత్రి స్వతంత్ర భారతదేశ ప్రకటన జరిగింది. 1950 నాటికి విశాల భారతం రిపబ్లిక్గా అవతరించింది. Now I'll be speaking about our national language, Hindi. हिंदी हमारी राष्ट्रीय भाषा है. मैंने हिंदी भाषा 5वीं कक्षा से सीखना शुरू किया. पहले मुझे हिंदी कठिन लगती थी, पर धीरे धीरे मैंने कई शब्द और अर्थ सीखे और जिससे मुझे समझ आने लगी. इसलिए अब मुझे हिंदी आसान लगने लगी है. अब मैं हिंदी बोल सकता हूँ, पढ़ सकता हूँ, लिख सकता हूँ और समझ भी सकता हूँ. यह 4 साल का अभ्यास का प्रतिफल है. इस साल मैंने हिंदी में बहुत कुछ सीखा, जैसे वाक्य रचना, गिनती, विलोम शब्द, चित्र वर्णन, अनुच्छेद लेखन और बहुत सारे नए शब्द और उनका प्रयोग. पठन कौशल में मैंने 2 कहानियों की पुस्तकें पढ़ी और हमारी पाठ्य पुस्तक में अधिक संख्या पाठ भी पढ़े। उनमें मैंने व्याकरण सीखा। उदाहरण में वाक्य रचना, सर्वनाम का प्रयोग, कारक चिन्ह, क्रिया शब्द और वर्णनात्मक शब्द, लिंग बदलना, वचन बदलना भी सीखा। और पठन कौशल और सही उच्चारण के लिए अध्ययन हमने किए। गुल्ली का गजब पिटारा में मुझको गुल्ली का पात्र बहुत पसंद आया, क्योंकि उसने चतुराई से उसके गजब पिटारे से कई उपयोगी वस्तुएं निकालकर उसके दादाजी, चाचा जी और दादी माँ की सहायता की। उसे पढ़कर मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा। दूसरी किताब का नाम उड़ने वाला ऑटो है। उसमें एक ऑटो को उड़ता देखकर मुझे भी ऐसे ही एक ऑटो में बैठकर उड़ना का मन करने लगा। इस कथा में दिल्ली का वर्णन ऐसा किया गया है कि मैंने दिल्ली को महसूस किया। इस पुस्तक का सृजनात्मक लेख मुझको अच्छा लगा, मानो मैं खुद दिल्ली में हूं। इस कहानी के चित्रांकन भी बहुत सुंदर है। मॉडल बुक में मैंने बहुत सारे पाठ पढ़े। उनके अभ्यास कार्य यानी टास्क्स बहुत आकर्षक और रोचक थे। उन्हें करने में मुझे मजा आया। वर्णनात्मक लेखन और अनुच्छेद लेखन लिखना भी सीखा। लेखन कौशल में माँ, पिताजी, पसंदीदा मौसम आदि सृजनात्मक लेखन लिखना सीखा। मेरी हिंदी की वर्तनी सुधरी और कॉपी राइटिंग करने से मेरी लिखावट भी सुंदर हो गई है। अब मेरी हिंदी काफी अच्छी हो गई है। इस साल की पढ़ाई से मेरी रुचि हिंदी में बढ़ गई है।
नमस्कार। मैं हूँ ऋषिक
और
और मैं
अब
अब आपको
गुल्ली
गुल्ली
का
का
गजब
गजब
पिटारा
पिटारा
की
की
कहानियां
कहानियां
सुनाता हूँ। पहले कहानी में गुल्ली के दादाजी का चश्मा टूट गया था और इसलिए वे अखबार पढ़ नहीं सके। उन्हें उदास देखकर गुल्ली ने उनकी सहायता करने की सोचा। वह जल्दी से अपना पिटारा लेकर आया। उसमें से एक मैग्नीफाइंग लेंस निकाला और दादाजी को दिया। दादाजी को सब कुछ बड़ा और बेहतर दिखाई देने लगा। दोनों इससे बहुत खुश हुए। दूसरी कहानी में वह मंगल चाचा की सहायता करता है। टन टनाटन, धड़ाम धूम। वह उसने पैकेट से तेल निकालकर बोतल में डालने के लिए एक बड़ी चौड़े मुंह वाली कीप अपने पिटारे से निकालकर देता है, जिससे मंगल चाचा की रसोई साफ रही। चाचा ने गुल्ली को शुक्रिया कहा। अंतिम कहानी में दादी माँ ऊनी टोपी की सिलाई करते समय सुई नीचे गिर गई थी, जिससे वह परेशान थी। गुल्ली ने उनकी भी मदद की। अपने पिटारे से एक चुंबक ले आया और झट से सुई ढूंढ निकाली। साथ ही बहुत सी खोई हुई लोहे की चीजें भी ढूंढ निकाली। इस प्रकार से गुल्ली ने अपनी चतुराई से सबकी सहायता की। इन कहानियों से मैंने सीखा कि बड़े बूढ़ों की मदद करना अच्छी बात है। उनकी मदद करने से वे खुश हो जाते हैं। हमें उनका मान रखना चाहिए। धन्यवाद। Now, I'll come to social sciences. Social sciences are essential to keep up with the changes happening around the world, to have a basic understanding of the governance of the country, to develop knowledge in history and geography, and to understand how happenings in the past can benefit us or affect us in the future. In political sciences this year, we were introduced to the Indian Constitution and the philosophy behind it, the preamble's role and meaning, the roles and branches of the government and people who are part of them, the role of media in spreading information about conflicts between India and other countries, and the need of a constitution. We learnt about the fundamental rights and duties of the citizens of India and some important features of the constitution. The Indian Constitution is the supreme law of India and is the lengthiest in the world. It declares fundamental rights and duties of citizens of India, which are never to be violated. Some of the important features of the Constitution are propagating secularism by not recognizing any religion as official, giving the right for citizens at and above the age of 18 to choose their representatives to form the government, establishing an independent and impartial judiciary branch, and establishing a parliamentary form of government at center and state level. As part of history this year, we learned about the Renaissance, England and America, and the three states Silver Oaks has branches in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, and Karnataka. I chose the topic The History of Three States, in which we learnt about important events which happened previously and shaped the characteristics of these majestic states. I chose the state of Karnataka. Geography was also integrated by pointing out the important rivers, borders, cities, ports, and other places on a hand drawn map. Karnataka is a state in southern India, with its capital being Bengaluru. It was originally called Mysore until 1973. Some of the famous landmarks are Belur Shrine, Mysore Palace, the Shravana Belagola Gomateswara Bahubali statue, and the Badami Caves. The area was notably ruled by the Hoysalas, Chalukyas, and the Vijayanagara Empire. Here is the political outline map of Karnataka, which I drew. As you can see here, the important borders of Karnataka are Maharashtra, Telangana, Goa, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. The major port city of Karnataka is Mangalore, and the major rivers are Tungabhadra, Krishna, Bhima, and Malprabha. Some of the famous cities in Karnataka are Gulbarga, Bijapur, Hubli, Chikmagalur, Hampi, Udupi, and Mysore. Economics is called the study of wealth. It has evolved over time to be defined as the science of factors influencing well-being. An economy is a network that consists of production, consumption, and distribution, and is made up of buyers and sellers. The main idea is to make and spend money. The diverse country of India is the sixth largest economy in the world, with a gross domestic product of US dollars 2.3 trillion. Most of the earning in the country is from the service sector, including textiles, handicrafts, and industries. Two-thirds of the population earn directly or indirectly from agriculture. The nation has recently become a pioneer in information technology. Obstacles that the nation faces are population growth, poverty, growing unemployment, and low infrastructure. India can be broadly divided into the public sector, consisting of non-profitable organizations regulated by the government, and the private sector, consisting of all private organizations. Big History combines expert knowledge and research to form an interconnected story about the history of the universe, including all of the crucial happenings, their causes, and how they are related to our lives today. It gives us a clear picture of where we are in this colossal space time continuum and tells us what may be happening in the future. Big History is an initiative started by Bill Gates and Mr. David Christian, and we've been learning about big history since 7th grade. So, this year, my favorite topic was early humans. Early humans, such as Homo neanderthalensis and Homo habilis, followed the procedure of foraging, which is searching for requirements which are available in the forests, such as and uh, food and shelter, food and shelter. So they used to develop their knowledge by building upon each other's skills, and that's how their hunting techniques and tools improved. This is called collective learning. Coming to science, physics is the branch of science that deals with the properties and behavior of forces, matter, and energy in the universe. We learned about mechanics, thermodynamics, optics, electromagnetism, and acoustics this year. I chose the topic of thermodynamics. Thermodynamics is the study of the interconnectedness between heat, temperature, work, and energy. To understand thermodynamics, the basis of energy should be established. Energy is the ability to do work, and it is what sustains us for life. According to the law of conservation of energy, energy cannot be created or destroyed, and the total amount of energy in the universe is constant. There are two types of energy: potential energy, which is energy while at rest, and kinetic energy, which is energy while at motion. Energy has different forms, such as mechanical energy and nuclear energy. Energy can be useful in some forms but useless in others. Energy is transformed from form to form through chemical reactions such as combustion and also through transducers. The big three temperature scales are Celsius, Kelvin, and Fahrenheit. Heat is a thermal energy that can be transferred from a hotter object to a colder one. There are three types of transfer, namely conduction, convection, and radiation. Here's an experiment I did on conduction of heat.
Hey guys, in this video, I'll be doing an experiment on conduction of heat using the scientific method.
Procedure: fix the pins onto the knife using hot wax from a candle. Wait a few minutes for it to harden and make sure that they are in a row and are roughly equidistant. Make sure that the tips are downwards so that the pins don't end up hanging on top of the knife. 2. Light a candle using a matchstick and fix it onto a platform using hot wax on the top. Hold it for a few seconds for it to become stationary. Place a paper towel next to the candle so that the dripping wax and falling pins don't dirty the platform. Finally, place the tip of the knife in the flame for a while and observe the changes that occur. Don't move the knife's position too much and do not shake it for better analysis. Be careful while dealing with heat and fire. Take assistance from an adult. The concept behind the experiment is conduction, which is
the transfer of heat between adjacent molecules or particles. This happens only in solids, and the heat source and heat sink are connected by matter.
Now, coming to chemistry. Atoms are the fundamental building blocks of matter, and matter makes up all that exists in the universe. Atoms originated from the Big Bang, which happened around 13.8 billion years ago, when existence, space, and time began. This theory was formulated by Dr. George Gamow. From then on, the universe kept expanding. After a second, the fundamental particles, quarks and gluons, cooled down to form the subatomic particles, protons and neutrons. For 3 minutes, these particles did nothing but wander around. And as the universe cooled down until 10 to the power of 9 degrees Celsius, the production of elements was possible. Ionized forms of hydrogen, helium, lithium, and beryllium formed. For atoms to form, electrons, which are negatively charged particles, had to bind to the nucleus of an atom, which needs cool temperatures. That's why the universe literally chilled out for a long period of time, and that helped in the creation of more atoms. Then it was very hot in the universe, but right now it's just under 3 degrees Kelvin. After matter clumped together to form stars which lit up the universe, these stars began fusing hydrogen to helium and then to higher and heavier elements, until eventually the stars exploded as supernovas, which produced heavier elements than iron. This process is known as stellar nucleosynthesis. We are quite literally made up of star stuff. Can you guess who said this? It's Carl Sagan, the American astronomer. And that's actually true. As we can see in this picture below, hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, and phosphorus are the 6 main elements of life. And their prevalence in the atmospheres of stars was very high. Now, coming to the main question, what are these atoms? As I said before, atoms are the smallest particles and they make up the matter in the universe. They have 3 subatomic particles, namely protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons are positively charged particles and neutrons are neutrally charged particles. Both of these together are called nucleons and they make up the center of the atom, which is called the nucleus. Electrons swarm the nucleus at very high speeds and are arranged in structures called shells or orbits. Different elements have different atoms with different properties, and these are arranged based on their characteristics in the periodic table. Coming to biology. Biology gives us an in-depth understanding of the interactions of living and non-living organisms in nature. It oversees other research disciplines such as sustainability, ecosystems, food, disease, and medicine development. Biology explains bodily changes of humans like metabolism, brain power, and speech. Understanding biology can be handy in many jobs, like being a teacher, beautician, or psychologist too. Research can provide solutions to large-scale problems like environmental issues, pandemics, pollution, global warming, and climate change, and can save our lives. Biological studies can pave the way for scientific investigations, inventions, and discoveries. It consistently and continuously provides vital information that can help us in further advancements and explorations. This year in mathematics, we learnt a variety of topics and their procedures, such as time and work, squares and cubes, simple and compound interest, and data handling. While learning such topics, a thought struck my mind. How useful are these concepts in real life? We learned how to apply different concepts in real life by studying and solving realistic word problems. One of my ideas was to take a simple example and explain how a linear equation can solve a real-time problem. I've made a video on it. Here it is. Linear equations in our day-to-day life by Venkatramarshi Madhvarsu. Hey there, I'm Ram. You see, I was really excited to plan a fun party with my friends on my birthday next week. But I later realized that there are a lot of important decisions and calculations involved. I have to make a budget, add all the costs, and make sure that I get enough supplies and still stay within the budget. First, decorations. Second, food and cutlery. Will all of my requirements fit into the budget of 3000 rupees? I looked up some decorative equipment on the internet and I found some really cool stuff. I showed my parents what I wanted to get and they approved my list, but cautioned me to get everything with only 1000 rupees. Then I asked my friends what they would like to have when they come to our house. The common answers I got were candy, cake, juice, chips, and pizza. My parents were fine with this and decided on a limit of 2000 rupees. I then went to a party and food store called Confetti and Cakes just nearby. I asked one of the salespeople about how many items were available. Luckily, all of them were in stock at the store. I showed the salesperson my list of items and their quantities, and here are the prices I got. How many balloons can I buy with the money left for decorations? I will be making an equation for this so that I can total the costs and see if everything is within the budget. I can also find the unknown costs or quantities. I'll represent the unknown quantity of balloons with the variable y. I know that it is conventional to start an equation with a term having a variable and its constant coefficient. 5 rupees times the number of balloons is 5 rupees times y. Next, I'll add 3 banners times 150 rupees each. Then, I'll add the costs of the party blowers, hats, and door and wall decorations. Remember that the decoration budget is 1000 rupees. Equations are like a balancing scale. Both sides should be equal to complete the equations. Both values on either side of the equal sign should be the same. This means that y has to be the value that balances the sides, or the root. Note that the order of operations should be followed. 3 times 150 rupees is equal to 450 rupees. Now we look for the like terms or similarly structured terms. All the terms other than 5y rupees don't have variables. 100 plus 50 plus 300 plus 450 equals 900 rupees. To find out the value of y, I have to bring its term to one side of the equation. I can do this by either transposing or balancing. When I transpose the term to the opposite side, its sign changes. If it's positive, it will become negative, or vice versa. Same applies to other operations. I'll move 200 rupees to the right hand side, making it 1000 minus 900, which is equal to 100 rupees. I'll transpose 5 rupees, making the right hand side 100 divided by 5, which is 20. So, with the remaining amount of 100 rupees, I can buy 20 balloons, fitting into the budget exactly. Now, coming to the food and cutlery, the salesperson gave me an offer where I could bargain and get a jumbo pack of candy and chocolate and chips at the same price. I need two of each, so I'll represent both with 2x. Now, I'll start with the equation by combining like terms once more. By combining the numerical coefficients, 2x plus 2x is equal to 4x. 15 juice boxes times 6 rupees each gives us 90 rupees. We also got a 2 pizza combo for 410 rupees. Adding up all of the other like terms, we get the equation 1600 rupees plus 4x equals the budget of 2000 rupees. This time, I'll do balancing. What is done on one side must always be done by the other to maintain the equation. I'll subtract 1600 from both sides, and here I get 4x is equal to 400 rupees. Divided by 4 to get x alone. Yes, I can buy each jumbo chips pack or candy and chocolate pack for a maximum of 100 rupees in order to be within the budget. The shopkeeper was fine with that. A week later, I and my buddies had a blast at home. This was the best birthday I ever had. Who knew equations were so helpful? Hip hip hooray! 3 cheers to algebra. So, this concludes my explanation of what I learned this year. As I started working on my site, I was actually perplexed on where to start and what to add into my site. But I later realized that I could show what I understood in simple and effective and very interesting ways, such as videos. So, after that, I got a clear picture, and here is the site that I have today. I would like to thank all of my teachers and the school staff for burning the midnight oil this year to make sure learning continues online. They mentored us throughout this project and made learning interesting. Next, I would like to thank my parents for supporting me in whatever I did and making sure I went through the right path. They also took the role of providing me with valuable advice according to the situation and provided me with the tools I required. Finally, I would like to thank my beloved friends for keeping up the spirit in the classes and being cheerful always, and always being there to help me out while I was facing difficulties. Though we missed quality time together, we were able to keep up our interactions online. The tools I used are Google Sites, Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Docs, and Canva. For images, I took the help of Google, and the video editors I used were Windows Video Editor and Animaker. All of the information that I kept in the website is from the resource books and the Google Classroom references. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation patiently.
That was a brilliant presentation, Rishik. You require a big round of applause. Okay, I can see if it had been just a traditional paper, I could have assessed only few areas, but you have displayed a wide range starting from your application of figurative language in poems, your experiment with conduction mode of heat transfer, where you have framed a hypothesis, designed the experiment, and drew the inference, and you solved your budget crisis for your birthday with the help of linear equation. It was